Hey Dave, glad you could call.
Hello, no problem. Sorry it sort of missed you last weekend. That was entirely my fault. I was here the whole time. I just forgot completely, and then sort of got up in the morning and thought, oh shit, and you know how it is.
Right. Well, I certainly can't condemn anyone for forgetting stuff, because I'm forgetting it all the time. Forgetting stuff all the time. I think it's a sign of genius, Dave.
Possibly.
Can we just both agree that we're geniuses?
Yeah, okay, I can go with that. That's fine. That explains everything.
I think it does. I always tell people that I'm thinking of 14 different levels of stuff, and just because they dropped off the bottom, really just means they weren't interesting enough.
Yeah, so, that could work. I mean, at the moment, I'm sort of, my left eye keeps twitching the whole time. I googled why that might be, and the causes are lack of sleep, spending too long looking at a computer screen, bad diet, and drinking too much. And the drinking too much hasn't been happening, but the other four have, and I'm like, yeah, that's me right now.
That'll do it. It'll be like...
Yeah, I haven't actually had a day off for about 3 weeks. It's quite busy at the moment.
Right.
So that's just run out to Salute, really, because there's a lot of stuff in the pipeline at the moment.
Well, tell me about Salute.
Oh, Salute. Well, I mean, what do you know about Salute already?
Let's say I know nothing, because I could be one of my many viewers.
Well, Salute is the biggest wargaming show, pure wargaming show in the UK, probably in Europe, to be honest, as a distinct wargaming show. It's a great one to go to. It's very busy. There's usually 3,000-4,000 gamers there or so. It's quite different from American conventions, which we've been to quite a few of now, because it just lasts for one day.
Really?
Which is, yeah.
One day?
One day. So it's quite like all or nothing, high stakes stuff for us, because you don't get very long to set up as a exhibitor.
How many
it's like
vendors
a mad,
are there? Crazy
thing. Like, I never get any sleep before Salute, because it's always just kind of whatever I'm doing is never really finished on time. So, but we've got some really big stuff planned for this year, and it's where we do our big announcements. As that or Gen Con are the two shows we do big announcements at generally.
Awesome. That sounds really good. I'd just like to make a note that I said our viewers... hold on, what was it? It was, you might not know anything like our viewers. I meant not know anything about Salute.
Oh, right.
So okay. Well, tell us about what you have coming up, about the developments with your game.
Oh well, we've got the expansion coming out this year. That's no big secret. I've told a few people that's coming. That's my main focus at the moment. It's a lot of work.
Is that the Revolution faction?
Yeah, the Resistance.
The Resistance.
Yeah, they're all they've been fun for me to do, and I've mostly done them now. They've been painful from a design point of view, because say in the other races in a blister you get tanks, and you might get 3 tanks. Say the Resistance do have tanks, but for their stuff that is improvised civilian things like trucks and cars, there are 6 different ones in the blister, which means it takes 6 times as long to design. So everything about them has taken me longer, and I've stepped it up a notch on the detailing and things like that. It's been a fun project though, and I'm really happy with what I've done so far. Obviously, we're showing off a lot of new Resistance models at Salute. That's right. Part of it. So that will be along with an expansion book that will go with the Resistance, have the rules for that, and loads of other things in there besides. And that's the main focus, at least for the first 6 months of this year, is working on that. We'll be announcing a release date and showing off a lot more things at Salute. So that's when more information will be kind of appearing.
Okay, that's fantastic. Well, and what you've described is really the mark of a great company, that you're always setting a new benchmark. A question about the Resistance range of models is, first off, how does the line compare to the expansiveness of the other lines? Meaning, the models that are being published in the first run, will they be a match for the first runs of the other races, or will they be as expansive as all the other races are right now?
Well, we're aiming for as expansive as the other races are right now.
Okay. That's a lot.
Mainly because it's a lot of codes, exactly. So it's a bigger project because it's all of them. I mean, we're aiming for kind of at least 20 codes for the Resistance. I mean, they won't all come out immediately, all in one go, but they'll all be in the book and they'll all come out in the first month or two. So you'll be without certain units for a little while, but not for long, and they will be coming because, pretty quickly the Resistance need to get up to the same level of choice that the other four armies have.
Right.
Because otherwise they're always at a disadvantage then, and that's not fair if you're a Resistance player.
Right.
So
how long do you think it will take you?
But the design side or the releasing?
No, but the time between you release any of the models to when the range is comparable to the other races.
Oh, it'll probably be a couple of months max.
Okay, great. That's really
generally, from a retailer's point of view, you don't want to release too many things all at once because it's better for a retailer to grow into a new race than it is to have to, put a lot on their shelves all at once. So
right.
It's good from a keeping things going standpoint and from a production standpoint as well. We learned a lot of lessons the first time round, and we do things slightly differently now. We try and get more regular releases rather than sort of doing a whole ton of stuff all at once and then nothing for ages and then a whole ton of stuff. We're trying to keep up regular monthly releases at the moment. That's
fantastic. So are you getting paid yet?
A little bit. I'm still not paid very much, but that's
right.
Part and parcel of the industry and running a company.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
most of the money that we make goes back into the company because
right.
It's best for growth. I mean, we've got a lot of projects on the go at the moment, and they all cost money. So I don't want to rob that from the company. It's not good for growth.
Absolutely. Well, and the other thing is that. The larger your lines become, there are real cash flow issues, because not only do you have to create the models, but you have to stock them sufficiently so that when all the orders show up, you can fill those orders.
Oh yeah. I mean that's the part of it. I mean these days we've always got shelf stock of things. If people stores order product, there's normally product on the shelf waiting for them. So it would never take very long to fulfill distro and store orders these days, and obviously individual orders through the site are usually processed pretty quick now. We stock a lot of things we manufacture in bulk, like the starter set. We made a lot of those because to get the retail price point that we did, we made a lot of them.
Right.
That's just the way it is with plastics and printing and things like the Cityscape, the Runescape, the rule books, those kind of things. We have plenty of stock on, and resin we don't make it to order. We always restock ahead, so we've got the stuff there if somebody orders it. It's generally how we work.
Yeah, and I'm very impressed by the fill rate. I mean, one of your guys, I can't remember his name, Simon, something like that.
Simon. He does. The orders and stuff.
He got back to me and just sent me a bunch of the new releases so I could, do them up and integrate them into the armies that I got from you last October, I think. Oh no, actually last May, about a year ago.
Yeah.
So and so far I painted up 3 out of the 4 armies. I only have PHR left to do.
Yeah.
And so, well, that's very exciting. So, how are you doing personally?
Okay. I mean, I've done literally nothing but work for the last many months. My photography's kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit, which is my hobby that isn't wargaming, and I get out to Zebex occasionally, and that's about it. Other than that, I just work. But it's okay. I mean, we've taken on another staff member now, basically a full-time illustrator as part of. He'll be doing other things as well, but He's a very talented illustrator, so that's going to mean there'll be a lot of drawn artwork in the next book.
Oh, that's fantastic.
In the future from us. Yeah, it's just really cool. We're really lucky to find him. Well, as lucky we weren't at finding him, but you know.
For example, with Games Workshop, they release army books, so a whole army is redone. But with a game like War Machine, for example, and your game, you buy the basic book, you get all the stats for the guys in it. But when new releases are done, War Machine will do like a book that will have a little something for all the races. In your case, you do the same thing, but it's one better because it's all downloadable, which I think is really nice. But can you speak to how the format is going to shape up in the future?
Well, it'd broadly be based around expansion books. So this first expansion that we're working on now, that's going to be a good example of how we want to progress in the future. So you got the core book with the four kind of core races in there. Then the first expansion book will have the resistance, and it will have more resistance units in it than anything else because they're the new race. But all the things we've been releasing since the original book will be printed in there for the UCM, the PHR, the Scourge, the Shaltari. They'll all be in there with kind of final definitive printed rules, because the ones we have for download are always experimental rules. We tweak those as people talk on the forum and things. We do a lot of playtesting first, but you know, there's been a few units that we've modified since they were originally released, and then they'll get printed in expansions as we go. We're planning on running a few releases ahead as well. So yeah, you'll get something for every race in every book, essentially. So
okay, so it'll shape up a little more like Privateer Press than individual army books like GW.
Yeah, we're not looking at doing individual codex army books, whatever you want to call them.
Well, once there's 50 different items for every race.
Yeah, I mean, Games Workshop it has a different situation to us because they have a lot more races, and you know, the IP has had 30, 25 years to grow. You know, we're only in year 2 at the moment, so things will change in the future, I'm sure, but that's how we're doing it at the moment. And
for those of you that may not, for those listeners who may not be familiar with you or your game, I really have to tip my hat to you, because you effectively took a concept and almost single-handedly did everything and brought it to fruition. And here it is several years, or at least a year and a half after your release, and you're still plugging away really strong. And believe me, I've been around long enough to know how difficult it is. You know, there's a lot of burned bodies of knights in front of the dragon's cave who thought they were good enough to make their own game. Because it sounds like fun, but boy, then you got to get funding, and there's a whole load of expenses associated with it.
Oh yeah, and as you grow, those things get bigger. You know, every show we attend, we're going back to Gen Con this year, and our stand will be bigger than it was last year. You know, you've always got to, if you want to grow, you've always got to improve and do one better than last year. You know, like last year at Salute we had the big city display, and this year we're working on something better.
Right.
I'm working on something better, which I actually get to start putting together on Tuesday, so I'm quite excited about that.
Ooh, is this something you can tell me about, or is this a secret?
No, I'm going to keep quiet on that one.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh, what could it be?
As long as I get it finished on time, I've got a good amount of time to do it, and I think it should be okay. But as long as I can do it on time, there'll be something very, very, very big to look at. Not as big as the city, because the city was 20 feet long. This won't be that big, but it will be better. You know, to see it Salute, and there'll be a lot of material online about it once it's been shown. So, if any of your listeners can't make it to Salute, they'll see plenty of stuff about it afterwards anyway. So.
Okay, so if one of our listeners is in the UK, when is Salute?
Salute is on April the 12th, I believe, which is a Saturday. It's in the Excel Centre in London, which is one of London's biggest kind of commercial show venues.
Right.
You know, it's a typical kind of big convention centre, pretty much. It's a large event, so it's just the one day on Saturday. It's quite cheap to get in. I'm not sure exactly the entry price, but you can Google Salute 2014 and you'll find all the information you need on there. But yeah, I mean, we've got a very big stand this year for us, 3 times the area that we had last year. So we've got big plans for it, and we don't want to waste the area. You know, we'll be running multiple demos, and there'll be displays, there'll be other things, there'll be never before seen models. The whole team will be there. You know, it'll be a big show for all of us.
Well, that sounds really fantastic, Dave. I'm very excited.
Yeah. I mean, I get excited about Salute. I do enjoy Salute, even though it is one day.
One day, yeah. How can you even see everything?
Oh well,
Not possible.
People get quite fast at Salute. Like say Gen Con is bigger, you know, because Gen Con has everything, all sorts of gaming.
Right.
You know, where Salute is just wargaming.
Oh, okay.
Only. So, you know, there's no D&D there. There's no like Magic. You know, there's no board games.
Right.
Or there might be one or two, but basically it's all wargaming. So there's all the wargaming companies there, obviously. So there's a few less companies to look round for a start. But it just gets very intense. You know, people get there in the morning. There's always a big queue to get in. I mean, we would like it to be 2 days as a show, because the setup for Salute it's our biggest setup we do every year, and it's just for a 1 day show. So it kind of, you know,
right.
it's wearing. And we've done 2 Salutes now, and we've never done one this big, but we haven't had this many people to work on the stand either. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be fun.
All right, that's awesome. Are you coming to May Valhalla?
Yes, hopefully. I'd love to. I mean, it's actually May is going to be a very busy month, because that's when I'm finishing up certain things. But I'm going to try my best to make it out. Are there other ones this year, or is it just the May one?
There's one in October, but it's pretty full. And well, okay, now maybe I can give you some news. We're looking at an alternate venue for Valhalla. And we've actually had Valhallas at 3 different venues, and I think you've been to all but the very first one.
Yeah.
Right. So we had Sundance, and Sundance is kind of capped at 15 guests.
Yeah.
And then we have this much larger lodge out in the Heber area, which is like mountainous Utah, and that can accommodate 30 people. And so the place we're scouting right now is notably more south, but the wilderness out there is just spectacular. And so the place we found can actually accommodate more than 100 people.
Whoa!
And so,
wow, that's big event.
Yeah, so we're going out there in May. They've made arrangements, and that's the problem, is that depending on your turnout, that kind of dictates where you have to go. Because obviously you can't rent something that's 3 times as expensive to have this smaller group out too. But the owner of this 4th location has been very accommodating. So we're gonna do a trial run. And what I'm doing, although they don't know it yet, my plan is to pretty much carte blanche open it up for the entire BTP staff to go out there. And so I'm anticipating at least 10 of the staff, about half, will head on down for the entire week and just do it. So it'll be a week of basically the whole studio working down at this place. And it is I got to tell you, the outdoor life is absolutely crazy. They've got ATVs, archery ranges, also like little amphitheater things in the wintertime, which obviously we're not going in the wintertime, but they have ATVs, cross-country skiing, snowshoes. Zip lines, and it's on 80 private acres. And it is so gorgeous out there, and
wow, that's a hell of a venue.
Yeah, well, and there's different there's the main lodge, which has rooms, very well appointed rooms in it. It's not as expansive as the last location we were at. It's not like some kind of mansion, but it's respectable. But the big thing is there's cabins. There's a set of cabins external to the building, which will bring the ticket prices down quite a bit for people that want to stay in those. And but they also have Mongolian round tents, like cabanas, I guess you call them. The name is a yurt. Most people aren't familiar with that. And they've got at least a couple of them out there that are so awesome. Like, when you walk into this thing, it's like the Sultan's palace. I mean, like, seriously, I would have no problem actually living in one of these things. They're 35, the larger ones are 35 feet in diameter, and they are just like the Khan should be holding court in one of these things.
Should be taking audience in there.
Oh yeah. And it's right, and there's no other houses in sight. It is just right in the middle of this amazing wilderness. And so, yeah, I'm definitely shouting Valhalla for this one.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds awesome.
So that's May. So you got to come out. And I'm going to say it's okay if Bex wants to come too. Is that a thing? Are you still together? Yeah, no, very much. I might ask her about that actually, because she has got some holiday spare at the moment. Great.
So
because part of the deal for this is we can bring out a lot more people. So it's not limited. So Dave, I know you're busy, but don't miss it, man. It will be something to really write home about.
I've loved it. I've loved it both times I've been so far, and really wouldn't want to miss it. I mean, I might bring a laptop and do some writing while I'm there, because there's a lot of writing to do around that time. As I'm looking forward to that too, because I've been designing models non-stop for months, and to get back to writing would be awesome. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, that sounds fantastic, and of course we've got other guest stars coming out who you'll probably remember from last year. All right. Well, Dave, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to visit with me. Do you have any parting shots or something that you'd like to say?
Parting shots. I don't know. I mean, just watch this space. Really. I mean, I'm sorry I've been a bit quiet about what's coming up for Salute, but it won't be long before all is revealed. So keep an eye out on that. Don't miss the newsletter and stuff like that, and just keep an eye out for Salute, really, because you get to see the results of my bags under the eyes and all the rest of it then, and I will as well.
Okay, Dave, that sounds fantastic, and again, thank you so much. You're one of my favorite guests, and really one of my favorite humans on the earth. I think you're really great.
Thank you.
No exaggeration.
Good to speak to you, Sean. It's been good to catch up.
That's for sure. Thanks, cool. Dave. Talk to you later.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye. Bye.
All right, folks. BTP fans. Just Sean here now. I'm in on a Saturday with just Chad. Yep. Just me and Chad, making sure all the projects are ready for the artists. And so, yeah, getting Dave on was really quite an adventure. He's certainly got a lot on his plate. Now I know how people feel trying to track me down. We are, of course, very excited for Valhalla. It's May 5th through 11th. And like Dave said, watch this space because we are definitely going to have some very, very, very affordable options for this Valhalla. Valhalla has been really a work of heart for me. And hey, Tanya, it's been a work of heart for me, and definitely something that's been a work in progress. We could have just capped it and just been happy the way it was. But what we found is my original business model, which was to have out, I guess this is bonus material. I was thinking, is it bad for me to? All right, had to change the batteries there, and then forgot what I was talking about. So So Valhalla, what we noticed is my business model of having ultimately like 40 of them in a year and having like different themes and that whole thing and turning it effectively into a separate business really is not the way that humans are operating in this arena. So it was clear to us. So for example, we found that most people wanted to come out in October because that was, quote, the big one that we were going to have. And so we now it becomes tricky because if you all of a sudden go to like a convention center, and there's a really good rural one called Snowbird, which I've gone to for many years now, not for conventions but personally. And so we've looked at that, but then you're kind of back in the hotel, which was the whole point of Valhalla, was to give a completely different experience. And the number of people is like, well, you gotta really get that mix right too. And I think the ideal, because we had, I think, 40 some odd people at the last one, and that didn't feel overly crowded. It still felt cozy. So 50 to 100 might be our optimum size. And but it's very hard to find personal venues for that. And even though if you check a few videos back, you'll see a little blurb where I took hardly any video. I really just went up there to kind of feel the place out. It might sound corny, but when I'm going somewhere or I'm about to make a move, I like to just kind of open myself up and and be quiet and just sort of feel how it feels. And I definitely got a really, really good feeling there. And so we're going to go again, take some really good video of it and some really good pictures, and come back with that for May. So right now it's looking like we're going to get staff to go down there for the week. And I'm really super excited about that. They should be excited about it for sure. And so anyway, we've got Adepticon coming up, and that's going to be very exciting. Look for us there. We will not have a booth this year. We were offered a booth. We're kind of like a mainstay of Adepticon. We've been going since 2007. But the booth is always a little problematic. They've moved the vendors kind of off to this side hall, which is fine, but we really wanted to kind of mingle with the fans, so we're going very casually this time, more as guests than anything. But definitely look us up, and because it's good. Life is really super good, and things are going so amazingly that my challenge right now is just to accept it. Just to accept it. When things go good, for you, you can't say it's too good to be true, because then I think you're pushing that good away on a certain level. And for me, that's maybe like all humans, that's a challenge, which is to accept good things when they happen. And I'm very, very, very excited about life and excited about the future. And I want to thank you all. For tuning in. And we'll see you again soon.